Hello, Patsy fans. This is my friend Susan Noss, and this is me, Steve Burrington. We're just leaving the Calgary airport. This is us in Nashville, and there's a sign advertising the Patsy Cline Museum. We got to go there a couple times. And on September 8th to 9th, 2019, we're lucky enough to get to stay overnight in Patsy Cline's dream home on 850 Nella Drive in Goodlettsville, Nashville, Tennessee. Here's a marker that they put there, one of my Patsy Cline records. I took some pictures showing kind of the road running along the front of her house in either direction. At the end of the block from her house, there's some cattle there, just a few houses down. I thought that was kind of interesting. Here's some different views of the front of the house that I took. Patsy lived here with Charlie from 1962 until her death on March 5th, 1963. So she lived here less than a year. Here's some pictures of me in front of the house. And she was one of the first country singers, women singers, to star in Las Vegas, and the money that she made there in December of '62 helped to pay for this dream house of hers. There's been a few owners that owned it after Charlie. Wilma Burgess owned the house. And then I think there's a couple other owners, and the ones that were there when Susan and I were there in 2019 were Steve Shurey and Thomas Corritor. They're partners. Steve was nice and showed us around the bottom floor when we arrived. And Thomas Corritor showed us around the top floor when he arrived home from work later that same day. I think Thomas and Steve were there for around 10 years. There's me by their garage. There's a couple photos out there of Patsy Cline by a car parked in front of the garage. It's kind of interesting. When Patsy Cline lived in the house, the carport was not there, or kind of the structure where the patio is either. Steve and Thomas had that built later. And I really like the concrete bricks, and I like the design. There's our rental car. And I think we're going to see the pictures I took of the backyard and kind of the back of the house. It's kind of interesting. There's a field that backs onto their backyard. There's a couple horses there called Smokey and Bandit. There's some clotheslines. It's kind of the back entrance where we first went in. You'll see pictures of the inside coming up here. Steve Shurey painted that Decca record below the patio set there. It's kind of neat. And this is inside their patio. Of course, this wasn't here when Patsy was here. The whole patio structure, that brick wall along the right side there was there, though. they have about 4 chihuahuas and kind of a dog running along the side of the house. This is the patio, which is neat. They have some neat garden sculptures and statues. Here's one of my Patsy Cline records. Another shot of the backyard. Steve Shurry showed me around, Susan and I inside. He didn't want us to take his photo though, but he did let me take a video of him, almost like an hour video of him showing us around the bottom floor. So I'm thinking I might post that another time on YouTube. This is the first video I'll have ever posted on YouTube. We'll see how it turns out here. Here's some more of the backyard. I was going to do music, but I didn't like any of the music, and apparently you can't play Patsy Cline songs, which would have been ideal for this, but you can listen to my voice anyway. This is the horses in the back. Smokey and Bandit were their names. It was hot out and there's kind of flies on their face. I wish we had an apple to feed them, but we enjoyed visiting and petting them. There's Susan. Her foot was sort of sore during this trip, so she had to wear that air cast on her foot. We were in Nashville for about a week, and I had a lot on my itinerary, so she did pretty well keeping up with me everywhere I wanted to go. We went to the Patsy Cline crash site, and went to the Grand Ole Opry, the new one and the old one. We went to the Patsy Cline Museum a couple times. Here's some more of Susan petting the horse. Steve Shurry did a really good job of decorating the inside of the house. And I know Thomas kind of supported him and all that, and did a lot of work in the house too. For example, the front entrance was covered over with some other flooring material, but apparently Thomas spent a lot of time, and you'll see in the pictures coming up that it's a nice black and white checkered floor that was there originally at the front entrance. Here's some more pictures of the back of the house. There's a patio. And this is where Steve had met us originally when we arrived in the afternoon, and then he started showing us around. So this is the first room you see as you come in. It's got the original flooring. There's lots of pictures, a couple pictures I've seen of Patsy Cline down in her music room. One was a publicity shot she had taken for when she did her stint in Las Vegas, and it's taken in front of the patio, and you can see the same flooring in it. And then there's one that I took of Patsy and Charlie when I was at the Patsy Cline Museum, and it shows them kind of dancing together in the music room as well, and you can see the floor. I've got that picture coming up as well too. And here are some of Steve's decorations. He did a good job. This is obviously kind of a remodeled shower they had put in. I'm a huge Patsy Cline fan, so this was a dream come true for me. And I feel lucky because probably not a lot of people were able to stay here. I know there's a handful, but... Okay, coming up is the next room. Go through this door. It's her music room. There's another one of my records. Alright, and this is what her music room looked like. All the furnishings basically belong to Thomas and Stephen. There used to be brown paneling around the whole room, but I think Steve said they had some kind of heater along the one wall, and it kind of left some burn marks on it, so they had to kind of redo some of the wall there that you see in white. And there's the original bar with Patsy and Charlie on it. The second part, Charlie had told Steve that they added that at a later date. Here's some photos of Patsy actually behind the bar, so you can see what it would have really looked like. And there's the fridge that was originally there, which you can see if you go to the Patsy Cline Museum. They have her actual fridge there, and it is still running. They made appliances good back then. And then here's the bar. It's been covered 3 times, once with the original red with Charlie. This is the second one some other owners covered over with this tan. And then when they shot the Patsy Cline and Loretta movie, this in the spring of 2019 when we were there, they covered it over to look like the original. And anyways, the set people let Steve and Thomas keep it, so that's what you see there today. Here's me just enjoying the room. While we were staying there, Susan and I each, of course, had our own beds, but she noticed a brown recluse spider crawling down mine. There's Patsy and Charlie in the room. There's my bed, and then you'll see the brown recluse spider, which I ended up killing. And then I looked around the whole room. I had to make sure there was no more crawling around before I went to bed. And it was just really exciting to stay overnight there. We both had a hard time falling asleep that night, just kind of looking around at everything. This patio is neat. It shows the original patio door handles that Patsy would have used. And then here's the original bar. So I took kind of photos of it and the surfaces. Furniture that Steve and Thomas had in there, the appliances and everything were really cool, retro. So we were snooping around looking at everything. It was really neat. Toaster was cool. Even the spoons in the drawers were neat. And of course we got to sign their guest book. Susan and I were really lucky to stay there when we did, because I talked to Steve more recently and he said we were the last ones to stay there. And of course, since then, it's sad to hear Steve Shurry had passed away in October of 2021. And in December 2021, Steve sold the place to some new owners. Here's me on the stairwell. There's some neat records on either side of the walls. Of course, that's very thorough. We even got the trap door looking up. I'm sure the light fixture is original to when Patsy was here. It's a neat glass one. I like the framed records on the walls. Very nice. When Patsy was here, there wasn't carpet on the steps. It used to be just wood. Some more neat photo albums. A view looking from the top of the steps down. And then Steve, when Thomas got home from work, he called us upstairs, and here is her kitchen. And she also had a cool new tone intercom that ran throughout the house, and here it is. So I took a nice close-up of that, and you can kind of see labeled the different rooms and things. She could listen to music or talk to other people in other rooms. And here is kind of the den and nook and kitchen. Here's an old photograph that shows what it used to look like, but it still shows the original cabinets and fixtures, and everything's cool. They, of course, put a different black backsplash in the back. The oven's new. And there's their little doggy door that they had installed under the desk. There's also a photo out there with Patsy Cline, Loretta Lynn talking on the phone there, taken by the Grand Ole Opry photographer. Here's Patsy Cline in the kitchen. And here is Thomas showing Susan and I around the top. There's a nice kitchen. And all the original cupboards. I know they shot a Campbell Soup commercial in her kitchen. And then also they shot a Hunter Hayes video in the house. Here's a nice nook area. Cool light fixture. And there's a view looking towards the den and fireplace. And the fireplace is really cool. There's a brick that's loose that Thomas picked up and showed us, and he showed us where Patsy Cline used to hide money under there. Apparently when Wilma Burgess lived there, she found some money in there. And then here is the living room. Seen pictures of Patsy Cline standing in this living room by her dining room table, which is on display at the Patsy Cline Museum in downtown Nashville. It's really cool to see it in person. If anyone hasn't been there, you should for sure go to the museum and see it. It's really neat. It's got all her personal belongings. Original chandelier. Here's Thomas, the picture with me. The mural was painted over the original one, and then since Steve and Thomas were there, they had it repainted to look like the original, close to the original. The piano belonged to Steve and Thomas, and it came from Philadelphia, where they're from originally. You can see the cool couch. It's like the one Patsy Cline would have had. I think they might have bought it from the same furniture store as Patsy. Cool 60s clock in the background. And here's the front window where Patsy Cline's casket would have sat, as per her wishes, after she died. And you can see the floor that Steve restored it by the front entrance there. That took him a lot of work. It looks beautiful. And there is Thomas and Susan. And there's another part of the intercom system there. Close up of the floor. I even took a picture inside the closet. I was very thorough. It was a dream come true. I scrapbooked all these pictures too into a photo album. And this is down the hallway. And this is her famous bathroom with all the gold tile trim. I like the decoration Steve put in there too. Looks good. There's also a picture of Loretta Lynn in this bathroom. Except the shower doors used to be a shower curtain, kind of black and white shower curtain. It was taken by the Grand Ole Opry photographer, Les Everett. I remembered his name. He actually came to visit the house a few months after Susan and I were there. And I think they also had the author of Honky Tonk Angel was there as well to look at the house. I always wondered what her bathroom would look like. It's cool because I read about the gold in the tiles. I didn't get to see they didn't show me the master bedroom or the bedrooms, but when the house came up for sale, I did see they had some of the pictures from the bedroom, and there was a shower off in the main bedroom that looked kind of cool. So if you research it, you can see it. And here's the front of the house, and then I think I walked a few houses down to the end of the street and took pictures of the cattle that were there. They were kind of looking at me, wondering what I was doing. And it was really hot, and it was neat being outside. You could hear the cicada in the tree. Kind of like locusts, I guess. I think they only come out on certain years. But they must have been out when I was there because they were very loud in the tree. But I liked the sound, it was neat. Susan and I were down in 2017 for a week and also got to meet Julie Fudge, who's Patsy Cline's daughter, and then see the newly opened Patsy Cline Museum then. And Charlie did a good job of saving all of their belonging, all of Patsy Cline's personal belongings, because they're all there at the museum. It shows like all the furniture there was in her music room and in her living room and her dining room set. It's just really neat. If you ever get a chance, you have to go see it. And I also got her signed record from her on my second visit in this year, 2019, that we went. This next picture's of Patsy's house that she lived on before on Hillhurst Drive. This is a house where she lived kind of when she recorded I Fall to Pieces, but the house she lived in just before she moved to her dream house. And here is the Patsy Cline Museum, which is above the Johnny Cash Museum. There's me and Julie Fudge, Patsy Cline's daughter. She was a very nice lady. And there's Susan with her. And then this is kind of the gift shop area where you could buy signed photographs and signed records from Julie. And then the next to end here is I made this wall hanging from the signed photo from the albums I got. Once it was signed by Patsy Cline. I ordered it from an antique shop in Ontario. And the other one I got from the museum, Patsy Cline Museum, when I was there in 2019. And there's a signature, "Thanks loads, Patsy Cline." It's one of my prized possessions. And then here's just a picture of Susan and I to end things off. Hope you enjoyed this as much as I did.